stop. Let's get it done. 1 and done. 3 and done. Baby, you say hey to spill. Is that our water? That's my water or yours? Okay, good. No, you let you some water. You good? You want to take a sip real quick? I'm finna hit record. Taking on out so you won't have to be hearing around. See, you hear all this? He eating a brownie, y'all. You ain't let your coworkers taste it? They liked it. All right. Did you say hey to the Spillers?
What's going on, Spillers?
Let's toast Brownie, man, Brownie. It's a great episode. Here we go, Spillers. We done already prayed. The Lord is going to bring us through, okay? I am about to record Mr. Wilson and on. Hey world, welcome to the Spill Podcast, your favorite podcast featuring your favorite podcast host, me, your girl, Mrs. Wilson. Hi Spillers, welcome back to the Spill Podcast. I am super duper excited about today's episode. I know y'all hear me say that every episode, but I'm normally super excited about every episode. Today, I'm excited about today's episode, but I'm just a bit nervous because I have this fine chocolate specimen of a man in the podcast room. I got Mr. Wilson in the building. Mr. Wilson, say hey to the Spillers.
What's going on, Spillers?
Why are you over here smacking this stuff out of the microphone? Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. That
Good.
was good.
Was it good?
It was well deserved.
Okay, well deserved. Well, toot your own horn then. Toot toot.
I ain't been on here in a month or so.
It has been a while, and I'm super excited to have you back. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming back. You know, I've had a lot going on. I've tried to bring different people, you know. And then, you know, since I had to redeem myself from the Father's Day episode, I needed to give you a little rest for a little bit because you was kind of, you know, putting your girl out there, you know, just because. And so I just wanted to give you a rest. Are you happy to be back?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you back. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, Spillers. Now it is that time. You all know what time it is. Whenever someone enters the podcast room, Mr. Wilson, it doesn't matter who it is. Just like I hold my Spillers accountable, I hold myself accountable, I hold my guest accountable. You have to do a Spill Mental Check-In. Now, the Spill Mental Check-In is the opportunity for you to really check in and tune in with yourself to determine, figure out, connect, to really see how you are doing mentally. So, Spillers, this is the time that you are to stop, pause for the cause, do whatever it is necessary, be intentional. Y'all know I'm serious about this part, but make sure that you are being intentional to do a self-mental check. This is a time of the year where it's the most wonderful time of the year. I couldn't get that deep, but I tried. But this is the time of the year, Spillers. Thank you, husband. So sweet, so fun. But this is the time. This is the time of the year, seriously, where people deal with so much mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, because you know we try to do the most for the holidays. But this is a time of year where, unfortunately, we're not always feeling like it's the most wonderful time of the year for whatever reason, and that is perfectly okay. It's how you choose to feel in the moment during these times. So I want to make sure that you are good. If you're not good, I want to make sure that you're taking the necessary steps to be good, okay? So, Mr. Wilson, as I do all of my guests, I have to do a spill mental check. And I know you have a lot going on, and I'm not trying to just, put your business out there. But the last few months, you've been doing massive overtime, leaving the house a little bit after 6 every day. Some nights getting home close to 9, some nights getting home close to 7 p.m. But being gone all day away from your family, at work, tired. I can't imagine, but I can imagine, but I can't, literally. But how are you doing, Mr. Wilson?
Um, you said stop. What'd you say? Stop.
Pause for the
Pause.
pause.
Well, what's the word?
Stop, pause for the cause.
So I think, wow.
You have to stop smacking first.
Mentally, I'm doing very good. I'm
Okay, praise
in
the
a
Lord.
good state. I got
Emotionally, how are you emotionally?
to me, it's first it's spiritual,
Okay.
then it's with your home.
Okay. Don't be looking at me like that. The people waiting on you to respond. You talking about spiritually in your home, they want to know. I want to know too, because
in my mouth.
yeah, you
when,
Miss
when,
Brownie.
when that right there is good, everything just all
Okay,
good.
praise the Lord. So when you're good spiritually, when your home is good, everything else is.
Everything just-
So you have no
I
complaints.
ain't got no complaints.
Already, that's what's up. You make me feel like I'm doing all right as
Need
an
a little
old
water,
wife.
just need a little water.
You're a little parched. Go get your little sip. Well, I'm glad to know that all is well with you, Mr. Wilson. I kind of knew that just being around you. I mean, we converse a lot, so that's good to hear. Well, Spillers, all is well with me. I have, I worked out last week 3 days. I tried to do 4 days, but the 3 days I did work out, it was 45 minutes. One of those days is like 50-some minutes. But I committed to doing my workout. This week I'm going to go for 4. It was a little rough. I got to Friday and I was like, I'm about to sit down for this lunch period. I'm not working out. But I've been drinking my water. I have been praying. I have been fasting. It's so much going on. When I say so much going on, it's so much. And it's emotionally, mentally draining. I've had to deal with a couple of my students, losing parents, losing siblings. So that bleeds onto a normal human being. And it's been like a lot. But I have been planted in the Word of God. Y'all know I love my Jesus. So I've been trying to stay planted in His Word.
That's what everybody needs.
That's it. And
Jesus,
yeah. And that encourages me, and that really gives me some joy and some peace. I mean, I can find myself like really crying and sad for people, and then some different scriptures or different something will come to my mind and my heart, and it will bring me laughter. Y'all know laughter is good for the soul, or it just give me a joy or a peace. So other than that, all is well with me. I am taking it one day at a time because I know this is the time of the year to where everybody is not really going to be as happy as I am. And that is okay. And I don't want to project my happiness on them. I want them to be able to experience that moment and to really sit in whatever moment that they're going to through. But I do pray a lot for people like that. So, Spillers, if you're not okay, say something so that we can do something. That's the only way that we can make it okay. That's the only way that we can make sure that you're okay. Okay? Did you want to add something to that, Mr. Wilson?
No, ma'am.
You good? All right. Now, this is our social media shout out time. If you are not following us on our social media platforms, what you waiting on? Okay. Okay, Spillers, we are on YouTube, The Spill Podcast. We're on TikTok, Spill Podcast by itself. And then we're on Instagram, The Spill Podcast 21, all one together word, whatever you want to call it. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you share, you like, and spread the word. We appreciate your support, Spillers. We definitely want to make this podcast bigger, better, and grander. So share the word, spread the love so that we can continue to give you great content and to give you love and to give you the word. Okay? Sound all right with you, Mr. Wilson?
Sounds like a
mouthful. And then those with social media platforms also keep you abreast with everything going on. I have recently deactivated my personal Instagram page, which had 3 or 4 times more followers than my podcast page because I do want to focus on building my podcast audience. So y'all do your girl a favor and support, follow, tell your friends to follow, tag. I'm going to give you a good little motivational word during the week. I'm going to remind you every day, every other day to catch up on the Spill podcast. And we're going to be good, okay? All right, next is our Spill Trend time. I told y'all last episode, for real, I'm going to work on getting us a little Spill Trend time. Little thingamajig in there to where the people can hear it so I don't have to say it. Like on a Breakfast Club every day, Charlamagne the God, be like, yo, 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 yo. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to record something that's going to be in there. Anyway. Okay, before we get into our trend, though, I do want to shout out, baby, everybody that went to the polls and utilized their voice and voted 1 time for the culture, 2 times for the ancestors. Thank you all for getting out. As of today, from my understanding, the Dems are ahead in the Senate, and in the House, we are a few points behind, but there are about 20 undecided votes. Once those votes are in, then if we are not ahead, then we'll be super duper 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 close. So shout out to y'all for getting out to them polls during midterms to vote, to make your voices known. That is what's up. Congratulations to those candidates who won. All candidates. I'm not discriminating if you was a Dem or a Reb. Congratulations. Especially a congratulations for the African American candidates, because this midterm election was a record number for candidates who made history. So shout out to the Black folks, shout out to the culture, shout out to y'all for making history for your cities, for your states, for your communities, okay? Listen, and for those cities who candidates has to do with, Warnock and Herschel, Georgia, I need y'all to show up December 6th. Big numbers, y'all can do it. We can do it. We represent. We are really showing that this country is all about democracy. We're not in all that anti-racism, all that stuff. We're not doing racism. We're not doing none of that.
Herschel Walker still on there?
Baby, Herschel Walker and Warnock, Raphael Warnock, they have a runoff. Yeah, the people that's how close their votes were. They have to do a runoff in December. So this is the last time for Georgia to stand up. Y'all been showing out the last few years. I need y'all to keep that same energy. I believe in y'all, Georgia. To my friends, my ATLians, as I call them, I need y'all to get to them polls, get y'all friends to them polls, take people, Uber people for free, do what's necessary for this country, for this democracy. It's time out for the foolery that's going on. Listen, it's our time, baby. You know, it's our time. And I'm just going to say that, and I'm going to keep saying that, okay? But it just feels really good to be a Black woman. Black. Thank God I'm Black. Hey, I'm take it back. Don't start. Whatever. But it does feel good to be African American. It does feel good to vote in the party that I choose to vote with, because I feel like my voice is being heard, and I feel like so many others' voices are being heard. And then I feel like it's like literally an example for the generation under us. You know what I'm saying? Like I text our mayor, shout out to Little Rock's mayor, Frank Scott Jr., who was reelected a second term for the mayor in Little Rock. But I text him a picture of some first-time voters that I met when I was voting. And they just look really young and fresh. And I was like, hey, is this your first time voting? Y'all voted before? Y'all from here? And they were like, no, this is our first time. It was 3 of them, y'all. And it made my heart so happy. And I was like, y'all voted for the right party. Y'all ain't got to tell me. And they was like, Frank Scott, we voted. And that just made me so happy to know that these young people, there's a generation under us that's taking advantage of the blessing and the sacrifice that our ancestors made for us. So shout out to y'all. Mr. Wilson, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, you think Atlanta will get Frank a car?
What? You know what? I told y'all I gave y'all a disclaimer. I don't know what he's going to say. He's talking about how petty this city is, about how they're doing our mayor, and he didn't mean no offense to this.
No,
Cause we both,
cause at first they said he had lost on the thing. Then
yeah, they
He
did.
lost.
But it was just rumors that he had lost. But baby, numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie. But what Jay-Z say, baby, numbers don't.
Well, I know when you just said it, I know.
Yeah. So shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all. Anyway.
I had to get that in there.
Word up for the culture. So now to our spill trend. This is a disclaimer. Y'all see what he just came with a few seconds ago. So I have not had this conversation with Mr. Wilson about what I'm about to talk about for the spill trend. I'm nervous. So y'all just listen. Don't judge. Just listen. Okay, so today we are going to be discussing boundaries and clear communications in relationships, friendships, marriages, partnerships, all of that good stuff. So since we are on that topic, I did want Mr. Wilson's opinion on something that occurred last week. Now, you all may know, spillers, that the social media or the socialite, the influencer, Nikita Dragon was arrested in Miami, Florida last week and charged with felony assault on a police officer. Now, just a little background, Nikita is a legally transgender woman and she's known for clearly communicating this and sharing her entire transition with the world online. With that being said, she has over 27 million social media followers. And this is with Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Who did I miss? Instagram, all of them. Anyway, it's a total of 27 million social media followers. After she was arrested, y'all, they booked this legally transgender woman into a men's unit, and this decision was made by the Miami-Dade County Correctional Department, allegedly. You gotta put that out there. The department is now being accused of violating the protocol by basically ignoring the safety of a transgender by housing them accordingly based on their gender, not housing them accordingly and based on their gender identity and needs. So personally for me, and all of this is allegedly, this is something that I found on one of my favorite black websites, NBHC, black.com, or The Roots. Anyway, they're on both. This is what they're saying. However, for me personally, I find it disturbing because of the laws that are set up to protect the LGBTQ community. And y'all know those laws are massive. They don't play, baby. They like the Beehive. And I'm a member of the Beehive, Beyonce's crew. We don't play when it comes to our own. And they do not play. They are in massive numbers. I do feel like, however, it was not a safe place for her to be there. I do agree, and I feel like that they overstepped their boundaries with their decision. Personally, I feel like if this is something that did happen, because it's alleged, it's on all sites. You can Google it, and you'll find it everywhere. And she even talked about it on her social media platforms. But I personally feel like maybe the Miami-Dade Police Department was a little ashamed that one of their own had got tagged on by a transgender. I don't know. And that was one of their brothers. And he couldn't handle this transgender. And so they said, we're going to teach you something, sis. We're going to put you in a unit with the men's and not protect you. I don't feel like it's fair. I have respect for all people's sexualities, whoever you decide to be. It is to the point to where I'm a middle school teacher. And in middle school, if a 6th, 7th, or 8th grader come to me and say, Mrs. Wilson, I don't identify as a her, I identify as a he, I have to respect him, and I have to call him a he. Because no, I do. No, I have to call them by whatever if their name is Jonathan and they identify as Jonisha, I have to call them Jonisha to keep my job.
That's what I'm saying. Call them by their name.
Yeah, whatever their name is. Well, yeah, whatever they identify as, that's what I'm saying. That's what we have to do for my job because of law. No, husband, listen, don't be like that. I got spillers with all type of, So anyway, Mr. Wilson, how do you feel about Nikita, a legally transgender woman, purposely being held in a men's correctional facility,
Okay,
even though they know that she identifies as a woman.
what make them legal? Looks, the paperwork.
Paperwork. That's the only thing that can make us legal.
Okay.
And then you can be you and come from Mexico and say you somebody else, but your
What
paperwork.
if she didn't look like a woman? Cause if she whooped one of them, she didn't fight like a woman. So what if she didn't look like a woman? That's what I'm saying. Was she? Just what make her legal? Just cause she went and got it.
Paperwork.
Paperwork. Was she walking around like that?
That's it. Paperwork. It doesn't matter what you walk around like. If that paperwork say this is what it is, then you gotta put some respect on my name.
But after they fingerprint her, they knew what she was. Then they knew.
It could come up. It may have come up like a past, of course, may have come up.
Y'all saying
but
when they was arguing,
when they calmed her down,
when she whooped them, and they took her downtown and they booked them, no matter if they didn't believe her saying that she was a woman or not, they knew then when they pulled it up, they saying they probably still just locked up with the dude. She done whooped.
Do you feel like it was fair though?
Well, I understand, but did it look like a woman?
It doesn't matter, Mr. Wilson. Y'all get
people have excuses when it's time to go to jail.
Exactly.
You got women say they pregnant. I'm pregnant. They got a place for you pregnant now. So what if this was a man and he just saying cause they'll let women go sometimes.
But if the paperwork legally states or identifies this man as a woman, and that's what we're going off of though. We're not gonna go off of how they look because I'm sure all transgender men don't look 100% woman. Of course, they have natural testosterone built in them. They're not going to look. It's some of them that do because I had to do a test one time. Well, my friends did a test, and I failed. I missed like 4 of them out of 11. 4 of them I said were women and weren't. But I'm just saying, legally, this person identifies as such. They may not look 1,000% or 100% woman, but if you identify as a woman and you're putting me in a place that you know is not good for my safety, and you're doing it maybe for personal reasons, but you're not doing it legally, does that make it right?
Nah, I ain't saying that was right. They weren't right with nobody. She wasn't right for beating on
It's gonna always be. It is going to always be that when it comes to Mr. Wilson. So that is our spill trans fillers. I personally don't agree with what was going on. If this is the truth to this alleged story, I feel like the laws that are here for anybody. Now, let me make it clear. It does not go against it goes against my spiritual belief, period. Like I'm against all of it, but I'm a person who loves, and I do believe in agape, and I believe in God, love overseeing all, and no sin bigger than the next. So I'm not here to judge anybody. But in this case, I definitely disagree with Miami-Dade correctional counties and deputies and wardens and all of them, because y'all knew good and well y'all shouldn't have put her in that place. Nope. That was not right. And whatever you get, that's what you deserve. They have laws to protect them, y'all. Like this serious.
Okay, but when you getting arrested, it's not the police responsibility to figure out if you a male or not. And then you going for whooping a police. That ain't them to be going through all that. I'm legally a woman. They ain't trying to hear that. That's what I'm trying to hear. They ain't trying to hear that.
But if I produce receipts that show
after you book, you can do all this now.
They can get the receipts while they're retaining me.
You done whoop them. They want to just get you restrained, get you locked up, get you in a holding cell. Now you in this holding cell. They can do all the paperwork they want to do. Now, if they left the person in 2-3 days, yeah. But if that person just got locked up, got booked, and was in there with some men until they found out and they took her out, that's different. But if they was in there a couple of days, I might got a rape charge.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's unsafe, allegedly. Okay. So So I just wanted to talk about that, spillers. Tell me what you think about it. Y'all know y'all can message me on the gram of Instagram, and let me know what you think about that, or you can comment it on any of the podcast platforms so that we can know. Okay. All right. Okay, we ready to move on, baby. As soon as I get this up.
Take up for somebody else.
You're stupid. Okay, we can go to our questions. Still this encouraging segment. We can be done in minutes. We can boundary.
Nah, I just thought that was 5 or 9. When you tell me what time you get out. I thought it was some deja vu.
All right, I had to stop about. Did you need to go pee? You ready to get into it?
I don't pee, I piss.
Ooh, okay, I'm about to record.
Crazy, dude.
Crazy. All right, spillers. Shout out to Trap Jazz, Philly Moo, and Quincy Watson. We just went to see them last Saturday. They had a Trap Jazz event. It was super duper dope. Mrs. Wilson, did you enjoy that?
It was real relaxing. Just chill.
Good. Yeah, it was really nice, really relaxing and really chill. I love jazz, and then Trap Jazz they just set it off for me.
He had me tagged.
Boy, that horn. He did that for real. So shout out to them and that amazing few seconds of jazz that they gave us. Spillers, it's time. Few seconds. It's time for our spill topic time. So today's topic is setting boundaries. And we know boundaries are exempt. We're talking about relational boundaries, be it family, marriage, co-workership, churchship. We're talking about all boundaries in all ships, okay? So I have been wanting to talk about this for a very long time, spillers. However, I decided to plan it around this time because I feel like with it being the holiday seasons, emotions are super duper heightened. Be it happy, positive emotions or sad, depressive, whatever. I feel like folk are more sensitive during this season for whatever reason. And everybody's feelings are validated, right? Because they are your personal feelings, and don't let nobody tell you how to feel or how you should feel. And just like we don't want anyone to discount our feelings, it's important that we don't discount anyone else's feelings. So, Mr. Wilson, here lately I like to say that we have been having healthy disagreements. Not healthy. Because for a while I would say if I say something, I would feel like you would get like offended. And you'll kind of go into like defensive mode, right? And then you'll say that you're not get mad. It's just the way that I'm receiving your response because you sensitive. You real sensitive. It don't matter what I say, how I say, you sensitive. But anyway, of course, I would disagree and feel like that you are projecting your responses for whatever the conversations, whatever the reasons, to me in a defensive way, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, lately, spillers, we have been able to actually sit and look at each other face to face, say, hey, I don't like this. Or I don't like when you did this or said this. Or remember when we had this conversation? We're basically able to say and get our frustrations out. We can hug it out, sex it out, do whatever after the conversations, right? How do you say that, Mr. Wilson? Okay, but I want your perspective on how important do you think it is for any relationship, be it a friendship, partnership, marriage, etc. How important is it to have a healthy disagreement? Like I said how I felt. I feel like that we should be able to converse with whomever we're in relation with and go away or walk away from that conversation still feeling good, relieved maybe because we've been able to get some things out off of our chest. But I feel like it should be healthy. So how do you feel, Mr. Wilson, about having healthy disagreements?
What make the disagreement healthy?
You just being able to converse with your whomever you're in that relationship with.
So ain't nothing being solved. You just being able to get it off your chest.
Yeah, you know that saying, people say we're able to agree to disagree. You're able to say how you feel, and that person is able to say how you feel, how they feel, and then you're able to come to have common grounds. Like there's no, we're not mad at each other. This is how I feel. This is how you feel. If we agree, we agree. If we don't, we don't. But if we agree or don't agree, that's not going to negate any of our emotions that we have towards each other in that situation. Don't start. Or that situation afterwards. How do you feel about that? And I'm asking that because remember I told you like a few weeks ago, I was like, I felt like that kind of made me like fall in love with you even more, or that really made me like dissect my love for you, whatever. No, because you didn't snap because I didn't snap what you said. But we were able to sit and actually have a conversation, and you went in and I went in, and it was calm, and we was like, oh.
Yeah, but all of them ain't gonna be like that.
All of them are not. But we're learning, we know the path to take to make sure that they don't go a different direction.
But this is what I feel to say from the beginning. This is why you be sneaking your little questions up on me, Tyler. You didn't want to talk about relationships. But every time I'm on here, it's about relationship stuff.
Well, I mean, what other is it?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't get to let Myra down.
Don't start. Stick to the question at
I
hand.
got to get on here and get all serious.
And do.
Yeah, you try.
Stick to the question at hand, sir.
Nah, but yeah, that's good for everybody though. Like you said, that's co-workers, associates, friends. Cause I got all them categories. I ain't just got no friend. We deal with like that. You co-worker. Associate. When I see you out, I speak. Yeah, we'll associate. It's like that. But you got to have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got no boundaries, what you got?
Yeah, I heard it.
You ain't got nothing.
From the man.
I mean, anybody can do what they want to do.
That part. So,
but to get them boundaries, some boundaries got to be crossed. Cause you ain't nobody meet each other and just be, hey, this how it's gonna be.
Right.
You don't do this.
Right.
This how it's gonna go. It don't be like that.
Right. And that doesn't matter who it is. It can be a church worker, partner, marriage.
Yeah, it's just gonna, when it happens.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
You have to be, hey, nah, I don't get down like that, man. You know, it took a little too far.
Yeah.
Cross the boundary.
Yeah. And that's so good that you said that, because that's oftentimes when we bring up the healthy disagreements.
Yeah.
Is when something happens that another person don't like. And that is normal. That's perfectly fine. You don't go into any type of relationships. You don't go into any type of ship saying, I don't like this, don't do this, don't say. No.
Only thing about them healthy disagreements, they be some old stuff.
Yeah, because
I'm
gonna reach back.
It be old.
I'm reaching back, baby.
quiet on the day before, and I was quiet because that was Sunday, the day Tuesday. That's why you want to talk.
Yeah.
You ain't said nothing 2 days. Be quiet today.
You gotta get out. It's better out than in. But I get what you're saying. But sometimes when people have those issues, you have to find the right moment, because me being mad at that time may not be the right time for me to actually speak and say what I feel, because it may not come out right. You may not receive it the way that I want it to be received.
Okay, so who can tell when it's better for them to receive?
Nobody.
So just think now, if you was to get it off your chest then, it's gonna come off different.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, the more you think about it, the madder you get. So you think about it, you over there, all type of stuff going with it.
Yeah.
Now you finna bring up stuff that ain't got nothing to do with it.
But what if that situation is intense? And then if you bring it up, it's gonna make it worse.
That's the way you find out if you have healthy disagreements.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You don't know if you're gonna have no elder disagreement until it
Okay,
happens.
Mr. Wilson.
You didn't know we was gonna have no elder. When we got through, you said, you know what, I'm proud. That was a healthy disagreement.
Okay.
You didn't know it was gonna happen for that because you was scared. You thought I was gonna
Scared, boy, you done lost your mind. See, that's what I be saying. we doing a whole, see,
But,
that,
but you know, it's you can't tell about no healthy disagreement like that.
yeah, you right.
And like them boundaries. I mean, all of them. You didn't set your boundary with me when we first met.
I
We
didn't.
just talked.
But you just made a point. You just said that unless you don't go into anything saying, boundaries has to be crossed in order to know that there are boundaries.
But
so that's
common
good.
sense though, no, don't cross the main ones.
Not only common sense, but what did you say that we did when we first got together? We talked, we communicated, we conversed, we did more talking than anything, and we were together like at the way before, of course, the pandemic. But the pandemic, I think, kind of solidified everything because we had no choice but to communicate.
Like I can't say, I ain't know she wasn't crazy until we got married. I can't say nothing like that,
Cause you knew, baby.
I knew. We talked the whole time.
When the world shut down, I was right under you.
The whole time, so I already knew I was marrying a crazy.
I'm not, whatever. Anyway, so see how you do, skills. You give an inch, baby. They take a mile. Listen, so speaking of boundaries, Mr. Wilson, now I think these are necessary in every single relationship. I feel like in the Black culture, especially when it comes to family, there are no boundaries. Perfect example, and I know you're going to feel me on this one. Like the elders in your family, they come to us unrefined. They just say what the hell they want. No filter, no nothing. Just say what they want. And they have no regards on how whatever they're saying makes us feel emotionally. Now, some of them may do it unintentionally. I feel like my grandmother, rest in peace, Grandma Ivory, Glasgow Coastal, baby, that was my G. She lived to be 98. She would have been 100 this Christmas. But baby, my grandma, she had no filter, but I don't feel like it was like a rude filter, no filter. But she said what she wanted to say, how she wanted to say in the most respectful, loving way to where I could receive it, and I promise you not be offended. Not everybody is like that, right? And some people may do it as a power trip, and I feel like some elders do it because there are some elders that's like, I'm the man. You can't tell me nothing. I'm the matriarch. I'm the patriarch. I can say what I want, even if it's not good for us emotionally, even if it hurts us. And then you have some patriarchs or matriarchs that do it unintentionally. However, whether it's friendships, relationships, do you feel like it's okay for people to say whatever they want to say, and sometimes the excuses are, they know me, they know how I get down. Or, we're expected to know how they are going to respond to that. How do you feel about that?
Well, you are sensitive, baby.
You say I'm sensitive, Mr. Wilson, but let me tell people real quick. Your mama, baby, she had 3 boys. So she was a G from the beginning to be able to raise 3, and they were all fully grown men before she transitioned to glory. She had some, and she dealt with these Negroes. You the youngest, and you was 43 when your mama went on. And you had 2 brothers older than y'all, so she had to be a lot rough with y'all. But do you feel like that's okay though, for real? Like, come on.
Feel like what's okay?
The elders just saying what they want to say to us, how they want to say.
Let me get it out, because you sensitive.
I just told you that you sensitive.
Now, me, I love for you to come out like that, because it give me the opportunity to be myself. Okay. Don't sugarcoat it, so I ain't finna sugarcoat it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, elders got to earn respect too.
They earn respect by saying what they want to say.
No, but they earn it. Why I say most of them
earn respect by being corrected.
Like you said, your family, they might just come on out and say, "Your auntie."
Don't do that. And they listening. I got some aunties that listen. Oh, y'all hear? Y'all better get him Thanksgiving next week. Y'all better get him.
They might come on out and say what they gonna say, but I think that's a good thing. But everybody can't handle it. But you got to know who you're dealing with. And most of the time, people do know who they're dealing with. They know who can handle it, who can't handle it. That's why they'll come to you and not me.
So I need to know before I put myself in this situation. If I'm gonna be around some people, be it my family, elders, whoever, if I'm going to be around them and they're going to do or say something that's gonna bother my spirit, like right then and there, do I need to determine if I'm gonna go to this family function or if I'm gonna sit out? Because if
Nah,
you challenge my boundaries,
you already know what you're gonna do. We're gonna be there, we're gonna be celebrating. And if they say something smart, you gonna say something smart.
okay, well, yeah. As an adult, I'm like that now. See, you just said about business. I want to feel
But that's what grown folks do. You grown now.
Yeah, you're right. And
Who you had from?
yeah,
You had from me.
yeah, whatever. And that is the truth, y'all. He knows me. I'm there now. Prior, I was always respect your elders. Would be it your grandparents, great aunts or uncles, aunts and uncles. I've always been the type to kind of, I just know to respect them. However, if like now, I've been going to therapy for about 5 or 6 years.
But see, the good thing about you is you smart. You can check a person politely. You ain't got to check them the way I check.
Okay.
I like to check them the way it's gonna make them feel loved.
Uh-oh.
You gonna check when you get through checking if they got a mind on them and they get to thinking, you gonna make them feel a little than I did. My words just gonna be
more harsh.
Yeah, they gonna be more powerful than you were at the time.
Yeah, and I agree because even if it's a situation at that moment around everybody, I'll swallow it and I'll take it, and I promise you at that moment it stings, Phyllis. It'll hurt so bad, especially if it's around and in front of a bunch of people. But please believe, I'm going to pull whoever it is to the side and say, hey, this what we not going to do no more. You did this or you said that. I didn't like it. And I do that. I do that now. Like, I've done that recently, and I promise you, I've seen a difference. But after I have that conversation with you and I say, hey, don't, and I don't care who it is, and I say, hey, don't do it, I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go in. Like, we done already had this conversation. So I asked you not to do it and you did it. So now I got to go in.
So at the beginning of this question, you asked me, you asked me what you should do.
No, I wasn't asking you what I should do. I wasn't asking you what I should do. Me, literally, just in general.
Not go and just sit back or sit and
Well, I'm not speaking just for me. I'm saying I, as in first, second, third, fourth, fifth person. I'm speaking for everybody. Like, if we're in this situation, should we not go because we know that that's going to be their family member that's going to cross our boundaries?
The only time I feel like you shouldn't go if you got that family member or that person that you know to get violent.
Okay.
Now, if you know this person ain't gonna get drunk or whatever they do and they gonna pick a fight, then don't go.
Yeah.
If you can prevent it, don't go.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just gonna go and you know this auntie or this uncle gonna come and say something smart,
just take it for what it is.
Nah, I don't say something bad.
Say something bad. That's
probably what they want. They want you to just, hey, they don't mean no harm. They just, I don't know. Everybody, it's just a lot of sensitive people out there.
And I love that you said that when you said that they don't mean any harm, because I feel like that. I don't feel like that we should modify our feelings or our expectations to make other people feel comfortable. But I do feel like we do have to know people. Yeah. And when you know people for who they are, what they are, what's the problem? And that's coming from a Jesus perspective and just from a human perspective. You already know what this person bringing to the reunion or to the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. What you walking into it bad for? You know auntie or uncle coming with the bull stuff. So if you know that they're coming with it, why you ain't playing your bull stuff before? I was just saying.
What I say, I want everybody to be themselves.
That's it.
I don't want you to try to be nobody else. You ain't got to do that. Just be yourself.
Right.
And that's when the real gonna come out.
Mm-mm.
That way you can walk up. Somebody took you to stop recording.
Oh, it's stop recording.
Oh, Lord. This smoke right here is gonna
this it. Here, I need you to look to make sure it's in there.
Yeah, what is in where?
This cord here.
Black cord.
This skinny one.
It's in there.
It's in there. Okay, let me see.
I thought you were talking about make sure something else is somewhere in there. What to do? Just stop playing?
Literally. Hello? Hello?
Cause you like talking to your little.
Is it in there? Oh, that was so good, God. I repeat the devil in the name of
You
Jesus.
got that though, don't you?
I got all that.
What you talking about?
Nothing else. That was it. I'm finna hit record and just keep going where we was going, because that was that was good. Okay, Mr. Wilson, so our next question is, so for the spillers, y'all see how it just bounced? Anyway, with us being newlyweds, Mr. Wilson, 2 years, 3 months married together, 3 years and 4 months, whoop, whoop. I feel like that we are super good when it comes to communication, and I don't take any credit from that, from being no, listen, they ain't even let me finish what I was gonna say. From day,
I thought I was reading that.
You won't read nothing. From day one, we and I think a lot had to do with us being long distance. We had no choice but to talk.
And gave my chance to put my Mac down. You got nothing to say.
You know what they say, when you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all.
You've been saying it for the longest. It's been a conversation.
Can you stop so we can finish?
The lockdown.
So anyway, I do feel like we started dating halfway through 2019. And so we had an amazing 2019 run, amazing beginning of 2020 run. But we were long distance. He was in Fort Worth, Texas, and I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. He lived in Texas prior to us getting together. So we had no choice but to talk. Like, when we realized this is something that we really wanted to do, we were intentional about making sure that we conversed daily, all day, every day. Let's make that clear. Look at his head, he nod. What you talking? You said like you was tired.
No.
Okay, you was good?
I was working, so that was the only time I didn't talk.
So it was work, sleep, me. Okay, I'll take it. So anyway, we talked a lot. However, that I do feel like that we're good when it comes to communication. I'm still leaning or learning not to walk around with an attitude, since we are now, since we're now in each other's personal space, because he did move from Texas to Little Rock. I'm working on repeating myself when he say, what you say? And I'm like, you heard what I said. But anyway, when conversing with your partner, your spouse, your significant other, your best friend, your parents, your siblings, your friends, your coworkers, anybody that you're in any type of relationship with, do you think that we should verbally share our boundaries, or do you think people should know your boundaries because they know you well enough to have figured out what's okay and what's not okay?
Don't say nothing to you.
Yeah, if you know I'm bothered, why are you talking to me?
But you can walk by and say something.
If I got a question. Now don't say cause you the one, baby, what you need? You want to go get something to eat. Then you want to get your hair done. Then you want to.
I don't say I like talking, but one thing I ain't gonna do is walk around in this house and we just mad at each other. Now we can put some boxing gloves on. You gotta sit around here and be all quiet. You mad? Show me you're mad. Don't show me you're mad by not speaking and walking in another room. I go in another room.
Absolutely.
Cause when I lock the door and put the gloves on, then
boy, you gonna lock the door and go to sleep by yourself. Anyway, and I appreciate that, and that's one thing about my marriage. And I pray that the Lord bless us with that forever, because Mr. Wilson made it clear from day one, 3.5 years ago, or 3 years, 4 months ago, we not doing no silence. You know what I'm saying? If we got a problem, we're going to talk about it, or everything going to be good. But we're not walking around the house quiet, not talking to each other, none of that. And that is so good to the point to where if I try to do that now, y'all, I feel so uncomfortable, because I know that it's overstepping his boundary. That's one of his boundaries. And it makes me so uncomfortable to where even if I'm stubborn enough to not say nothing to you first and you say something to me, I be so relieved. I be like, oh, thank you, Lord. Something, which I know is not the right way to be.
You know you can be
Baby, that's the lioness in me, baby. That's that Queen Leo. That's that Leo in me. But anyway, I appreciate you for that. So I'll say that publicly and loud. I appreciate you for that.
Well, I don't appreciate you for making me have to show.
Whatever.
But
I feel like so often we do allow people to cross our boundaries because of whatever the connection or the attachment may be. It could be a sibling, a parent. We gotta get there. Therapists taught me a lot about that, but thank God I ain't go through none of that with my parents. But talking to some of my friends in relationships that they have with their parents, crossing boundaries, afraid to speaking up because we don't want to cause conflict or division, or the old faithful, that's just how they are. I don't think that's fair, but that's who they. Y'all know how they are. That's just how they is. Oh, but I don't think, however, that we should compromise our feelings or our mental for anybody. So I certainly believe that speaking up for yourself or speaking up about your boundaries or anything that triggers you, spillers, is imperative. The Bible tells us in all our getting understanding. And that reminds me, Mr. Wilson, when we first started dating, I used to tell you of certain things, remember, that trigger me. Remember, I used to tell you certain things that trigger me?
I tell you and your red flag.
What you tell us?
Shove it.
Shove it. But listen, I personally feel like that you have worked extremely hard to not to trigger me in those situations.
Now, a couple of them, I know you was a little damaged.
Damn it.
So.
Thank you. That was good. Damage good. That was good.
I ain't gonna just beat you down like that. I don't keep people when they down.
Oh, that was good. That made me smile extremely hard, silly. Because
I couldn't do nothing.
That is not true.
Red flag. What's up with this red flag? What's up with red flag? Just things that happen in my past.
Yeah.
So you can keep them red flags. You got to keep going in my.
Listen, and I wasn't doing it with every single thing that he did.
Nah, it was just the stuff that you said.
Red flag. But I did advise him of some triggers. So we know that the boundaries, when we have boundaries, sometimes, if we're connected to a person or we appreciate a person enough, we're able to see the boundaries without even, without even having to ask them. But when it's triggers, I feel like triggers, you have to communicate that, because if you don't, then the person will never know. And I was able to communicate my triggers to you. And as a man, baby, you did that. I appreciate it. I really do. Because you didn't even do it. Listen, you said, nah, we ain't gonna ever do this. But I was able to tell you, and I literally, Spillers, told him what my triggers were. Like, even past relationships, things that did not make me feel good, and it was not taking anything from him or what he brought to the relationship.
I take that because I'm all about building. I mean, I like to mold my woman. That's what I do to you.
This is a good
this is a good conversation because I guess whatever you had, them triggers, that wasn't no mold. That was a beat down. That's 17. That's
it was
all
something,
that
and that's what it was.
I don't want no woman like that.
Yeah. And I appreciate it.
I got some good, strong confidence and self-esteem. I need you to have the same thing.
Absolutely.
I don't need you to be walking behind me looking all scared.
Already.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
But when you told me, it was one of my done. I remember doing the one.
Yeah, you did it one time, and I was like, red flag.
You got it right too, so.
Well, whatever, you get right. Just say what you did. Why you gotta bring me up? Just say you get right. Can you just say you get right, baby? Did you get it together though?
It humbled you.
What?
And I did it. When I did it, you got mad and you said something.
But what did it do for you after that?
It made me not do it no more.
Okay, so nigga, man, it humbled you. See, you got me talking crazy on the podcast. Anyway, and I appreciate that, and I don't know if it's your love for me. Nah,
or I guarantee it ain't nothing you did, baby.
Whatever. Or you just didn't want to hear my mouth, so it was something I did clearly. But that part, Spillers, we have to understand that boundaries, unfortunately, they may not be communicated at the beginning. It may not be transparent. It may not be evident, or it may not be something that naturally projects. You know what I'm saying? Without conversation. However, if it's a trigger, please say something. Don't say it. Y'all better say what it is, because that's the only way that the issue will be rectified. It won't happen anymore. And that was a blessing for me, because I trusted him enough to know that I could feel a certain way, and I can tell you what happened in my past and how it made me feel. And instead of you holding it against me, you're agreeing that you wouldn't do it anymore. And that's important, because a lot of situationships, relationships, family ships, they hold that stuff against people. And that's not right. That's like that's a tug of war, boy. That's bad. Especially when you know it's a situation that you probably could work out, or it's probably a good situation. But when you playing with somebody mental like that, when you're using things against them, that's not right. So thank you for me being able to verbally express my triggers, and you not holding them against me. So last but certainly not least, so a couple weeks ago, our last episode, I had my line sister, my ace, Charmaine, aka Ace. What up, Ace? And Jasmine, Stay Mentally Dope podcast, did the podcast. And I follow them. I love everything that they do. Y'all follow them on social media, Stay Mentally Dope, YouTube, Instagram, all podcast platforms. But they were talking about the importance of being self-aware on the last episode. Their last episode that I listened to, which was before this episode, was about friendships. And one of the things that my ace was talking about was being self-aware. And I just screamed. I was like, sis, like, the last time I heard about being self-aware, y'all, was like 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago, when I first started going to therapy, to a professional therapist, licensed professional counselor therapist. And they were telling me just different tools that I needed to make sure that I was doing the work, to make sure that I got on a better path, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that good stuff, right? But to be self-aware, spillers, you have to know yourself from a lens of pure truth, okay? Once you are able to fully examine yourself with fidelity through that lens of pure truth, you will become self-aware, and then you are able to identify and connect with your true self, okay? I feel like that it's important that you do that. You got to do it by any means necessary. Do what you got to do. You got to know you. If you don't know you, don't nobody else know you, and you'll really never, ever fully be able to just embrace and connect with true emotions, with true, like, I like to sit in pain. Like, if I'm going through something, I'm just going to tell you this real quick. If I'm going through something, whatever it is, the demise of a relationship, something with my students, with my family, I like to sit in it. I promise I do. I like to sit in it because I need the Lord to give me whatever it is that He's trying to give me in that moment. So I need, go on, God, let me cry. Let me do everything I'm going to do in this moment, right? So I like to be self-aware. And I feel like it's important that you're self-aware. So when it comes to being self-aware, Mr. Wilson, don't give me no short answer. You over here rubbing on my leg and stuff like you got something to do after this podcast. This is a serious moment. How do you feel? How important is it to be self-aware? Period. Like, forget relationships. If you by yourself, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's people now, they into this self-care. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to do this. But they're running from all of the different emotions, the trauma, everything that they've dealt with, and they're not self-aware. How important is it, do you feel, to be self-aware?
It's so important that it's, the homicide rate is 75
Ooh.
in Little Rock.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's how important it is.
Ooh.
You got to be aware of your surroundings, everything. I'm talking about that's the most important. How you gonna look out for somebody else if you ain't looking out for yourself?
Ooh.
That's the best thing.
The best thing.
If I ain't going for you, you can't take care of nobody else. You ain't good yourself. That's mental, that's physical, that's right now it's more mental than anything, you know, because without money, without jobs, without whatever self-medication that people use, they ain't got nothing.
So we in a mental warfare?
I think it's mental.
Like, you know, the Bible talk about spiritual warfare.
Because everybody has been broke before.
We fighting it not against flesh and blood, but against
spiritual
principalities in high places.
Everybody that had money, everybody been broke. I don't care if that money was from the government, getting them checks. Everybody had a little money. They go splurge.
Getting them stimulus.
Just about food stamps, everything.
Food stamps.
Buy the whole store, eat good. People that had money before, and they done been broke.
Yeah.
But it's mental now. I think it's real mental. People, because now we be going to work. I see how many people walking up and down the street.
And you live early in the morning.
At first they usually be out there. They out there. Now they out there.
every Richard corner.
Yeah, you pull to the stop.
You don't know who to bless.
No, they out there just grabbing.
Reaching, yeah.
They ain't grabbing for money. They just reaching, picking.
Just in the air.
Yeah, mentally messed up.
Yeah.
I think it's mental. And
So,
it's easy to go that way. People just lose care.
Yeah, lose care, lose their mind.
Yeah, self-awareness. They just lose all that. I don't even care no more.
And that's why I think I try to, well, no, that is not think, but that is why I try to speak so much of the importance of doing the mental check, because I feel like so much we can get so overwhelmed mentally that we don't even know that we're literally like pulling ourselves into a mental breakdown. You know how black folk back in the day, black people used to say, "Ooh, child, she had a nervous breakdown." Baby, they ain't had nothing to do with no nerves. That was straight mental.
Trying to dig yourself out of one hole and
dig in another. Yep. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give for people that may have this, they may not even be in a place to where they're all the way there like struggling mentally, but the struggle is like real? What advice would you give?
I can't do it. This is what I do. I pray.
Pray. Come on, pray. Come on, prayer. Prayer still works.
Yeah, even if it's just a Lord's prayer. To me, that's the best prayer.
Or Lord, help me.
Yeah, but that Lord's prayer, I mean, it
touches
for
everything.
So even if you don't even know what to ask for, just dad and thank him. I've been thanking for a couple of years now because I've been begging for
What you say, you done begged enough, now it's time to thank him.
I'm talking about for a whole, like, since me and you been together, I ain't asked the Lord for nothing. I just said thank you.
And you don't, and I appreciate that about you, because I'm like that now.
I mean, he constantly just bless me.
Listen, and I stay begging.
Say thank you. I ain't never used to say thank you. I used to, but now I do it on the regular.
Yeah, you're more intentional with it. Yeah,
because
you know. Yeah, when you wake up.
My feet hit the floor, I got to use the bathroom.
Baby, thank you, Lord. I'm with you. I'm with you. And people take that for granted. And I say that all the time. I promise you, I take the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they don't get it now, but I promise you, in 20 years, they're going to be like, man, Miss Wilson was telling me stop complaining so early. Because I tell them, babies, it's children y'all age that wish they were in the situation that y'all are in. So for you to say that now, and you don't ask them for nothing now, you just tell them thank you for everything because you know how blessed you are, that's imperative. And that's what we need to do. So we'll probably do another episode, Miss Wilson, part 2 about this, about our boundaries and our relationships.
I just ride with you. I don't care what you do.
I appreciate you, baby. You the best. You the best. You the best. My DJ.
Tit for tat.
That's it, Doc.
I'm going to do the podcast with you.
Okay, never mind. So let me end this podcast. See, that's what I'm talking about. You can't give black people an inch, boy. Okay, bye. Can you tell us feelings bye? Can you tell us feelings bye?
You want to go a little more?
No, you. I'm about to let him say what he gonna say. Can you tell us feelings bye, baby?
Come give me some sugar. Then I'll tell you.
Okay. Thank you for recording with me. So sweet. Tell them bye.
Bye.